Yeah. Hi guys, today we're in the kitchen. We are in the kitchen. Do you like my apron? I got it from Yama Mama. Very random. I think they just had a tasting. I'm not too sure what the event was, but we went there and they gave us this really like nice aprons. Look at that. Today I'm making brownies, and fun fact, aside from popcorn, brownies are like one of the first things I ever learned how to make. The beginning of today was kind of like gloomy. Now the sun is up for everybody to see, which is great, but I just wanted a bit of a pick-me-up and I decided brownies are the go-to. I have all my ingredients down here and I'll show you in a bit. Also, while we're here, let me mention that the last video that I'm going to be uploading is going to be an Ask Me Anything. So if you follow me on Instagram, I put up a post on my stories that just said ask me anything. So if you have any last minute questions, pop them in the comment section, and depending on the time they get posted, I'll try and answer your questions as well. If I happen to miss your question, or if it's like not at the time when I'm filming, I'll just like jot them down for later or something. So I actually have 3 secret ingredients that I put in my brownies. The ingredients aren't secret, they're like everyday household things. But for me, what I've learned over time is, you know, if you want to take it up to that next notch, you'll see what we're doing. Also, hi, that's me, what's up? So while we're baking, I'm also watching Good Girls. I'm on season 1. I started this week and I'm on episode 10. I just have it playing in the background. A lot of people have given me a lot of mixed reviews on the show, but I'm loving it so far. This is the chocolate after I've cut it up a little bit. It's just a bit more like rugged than you would expect from chocolate chips. We're gonna set that aside. These are the rest of the ingredients that we have. And the first step is to get the butter. I left this sitting outside of the fridge just so it can get to room temperature before I start to use it. I'm gonna slice it up just so it's easier to beat with my hand. I thought I had the electric like whisk thing, but it doesn't seem to be the case, so this is what I'm gonna be using. So there we have the butter cut up into the bowl. Now I'm gonna get one of these measuring cups and look for the one that says half a cup. We're gonna use half a cup. It says half a cup on the back. We're gonna get a half cup of sugar, which is that, and just put that in there. You can put more if you want, but between the chocolate and one of our secret ingredients, I think this is just gonna be enough sweetness. And now we mix. And after some time, you should have your mixed butter and sugar combination like this. So now the next ingredient that's going to go in there are 2 eggs, standard eggs. I personally have a fear of cracking eggs straight into the mixture. There was one time in high school we were making cupcakes for like I think the entire like year or something ridiculous like that for whatever reason, and we had like the batter full and like it was like, you know, ready to go, and it was just cracking the eggs and then we were good to go. And of the 4 eggs we had to crack, one of them had expired and it ruined the whole thing. So for me, I do it into a bowl first before I put it into the main mixture. So just give them a light beat, like so. Just very lightly, nothing too serious. And then we're gonna add the 2 eggs into the mixture and then give that a good mix as well. That's pretty much mixed as well, and as you can see, every time you keep mixing it gets lighter from the original color of the butter as you keep whisking. So what we've done here is put together our main wet ingredients. Now we're going to move on to our dry ingredients. There's still a couple more wet ingredients, but they're not in large quantities like these were. We're going to put this here because we don't want no lumps and bumps. And then I'm going to take the 1 cup, this purple one is the 1 cup, and we are going to measure 2 cups of flour. So this is the drinking chocolate, and I'm going to use this measuring spoon. This is a tablespoon. We're going to put 4, maybe 5 of these. What I also put is a small dash of cinnamon. You can see just like really, really tiny. And then I also put a teaspoon of baking powder. At this stage, we are done mixing and it smells delicious. But as you can see, the consistency is a bit too thick. It's a bit too thick for what we're trying to achieve, and that's because we are yet to put our wet ingredients. So to start this off, I'm going to put in a splash of milk. You can use water if you want, you can use almond milk. You just need a liquid, so just, you know, maybe like half a cup. I also like adding just a splash of vanilla essence. So this is the vanilla essence that I use. So I just add a lid full of that. And then my first secret ingredient is honey. And what honey does in brownies is that it makes them like more like gooey and like chewy, which is exactly the type that I want. So I'm just measuring healthy spoons. So that's 2. I'm gonna go for 3 big generous scoops of honey. And my second ingredient, believe it or not, is coffee. For me, I find when you add honey and when you add coffee, the flavors are a lot deeper. And then again, as I mentioned with the honey, when you bake it, it just becomes those like really nice gooey textured brownies, which is what I personally like. So if you don't like those gooey brownies, then I would suggest you skip the honey. But for me, this is what works. That's like well mixed through, and it's thick but not too thick, so when you lift the spatula it still does kind of dribble off it, which is what we want. The last thing we're gonna add, as you can imagine, is the first thing I showed you, ironically, and it's the chocolate. So what I like doing is putting a handful at a time and mixing that in, and I always make sure that I leave some still in the bowl. Sometimes they can sink to the bottom of the baking dish, so then these other ones I'll just sprinkle on top once I put it into our pan, which by the way is over here. And I've already lined it the old school way, which is taking butter and lining the dish, taking a bit of your flour, sprinkling it on, and then dusting off the excess just so it doesn't stick. If you have parchment paper, you can also use that. I currently do not, so this is what works, and I find it works quite well. Okay, so here again is our tin, dusted lightly, and I saw a bit of like a trick that I want to try. This part, please, if you've never tried it, please don't try it on my account, which is taking salt and just like sprinkling a little bit of salt on the bottom of the tray. And allegedly when you eat the brownie, the salt is what your tongue would like taste first. I don't know, there's like a theory behind it that basically chocolate and salt, and it brings out the flavors and all that good stuff. So that's actually my third secret with brownies. I've never tried this tip before. So this last one, we're all experimenting at the same time. Maybe it's meant to be rock salt, I don't know, but yeah. Now let's take our mixture and pour it in. When it comes to the coffee, you can also use instant coffee. It works just as well. The only thing I would say is make sure you dissolve it first in water. I once made the mistake of just putting the coffee like straight, the way you like sift the dry ingredients, and just putting it straight into the mix. And what happens is that the coffee burns. So you're eating this like really nice brownie, and then you're just tasting this like crispy, burnt coffee. It's not good. So if you dissolve it in water first and add it as a wet ingredient, it kind of spreads around more evenly and then just tastes a lot better. This is the final product. We are going to put it in the oven and let it bake. As you can see, the remaining chocolate that I had cut up, I've put on top. Yeah, so let's put it in the oven. This show is wild. What?
A few moments later.